So then after you finished your master's program, you moved to Australia for pursuing professional basketball, which we already discussed a little bit. Tell me a
Mhm.
little bit though about like what the differences between living in Australia and living here are.
Yeah. Well, I guess the first thing obviously is just the accent, which, we all kind of know what that sounds like, but I think what was so trippy to me is that, I think my total travel time to even get there was like almost 30 hours, with layovers and whatever. And then I get there, I land, I remember, and it was like 8 a.m. their time, right? And and my coach was like, "Okay, you're not gonna sleep, and we have practice tonight. This is gonna be the best way to kind of get you going on our time zone." And it was just so trippy because everyone, like those people that you kind of hear them do like a fake accent, and you're like, "Okay, that's enough. We get it. You can do an accent." That's how it felt, but it was everybody. And I'm like, "Can you guys? Are we serious?" Like it just was so surreal. And then
So you were
so that
you were
was
going
kind of
around
the
telling people stop talking like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, "What?" Yeah, and then I was also in a house with other American people, and they were all from the South. So when I came back, everyone's like, "What? What are you talking like?" It was like Australian mixed with the US South, and then I also have my Midwest. I don't even know. I was talking weird. So, yeah, and then also, um I lived in Melbourne, so that's like a city of like 5 million, 6 million people, like massive. So for me, I had never driven in a city before. And not only was I expected to drive in a city, but also the driver's seat's on the opposite side, and you drive on the opposite side of the road. And I'm like, oh my God. And so just like having to fight against your instincts, right? Because a lot of, like driving is like mindless at this point, right? Like, okay, stay to the right, stay to the right. And then I had also never been in like a roundabout, you know? Because I mean, there's not a whole lot of traffic here or roundabouts, yeah. And I remember it's like there were so many times where I went to the right, and all these cars are like, what are you doing? You have to fight against your instincts when you're driving. 'Cause everything's opposite, right? So you just have to like relearn how to drive. So yeah, that was pretty wild. And then, basketball wise, the court's a little different actually. So, because I was definitely a low block player, right? And so there were certain moves that I was used to, but then it was like wider. So any move I would try to make that I was used to making, I was actually further away from the basket. So that was something. And also they're extremely aggressive down there. It's very physical. So it was pretty
So
wild.
were there moments that you felt like you got fouled, but the refs were like, "Oh, that's normal here"?
Oh, yeah. It was like a full-on punch in the face, and I'm like, "Okay, I guess we can do that." Which, in that case, I just had to learn to be more aggressive myself too, so, yeah. This is pretty wild.
So now what
Yeah.
about like differences in food out there? Is it pretty much the same?
I would say it's similar. They really like Vegemite, which have you ever tried that?
I have
Ooh,
not.
it's
I've never really heard of it even.
Yeah, well, it's like remember that song, like, "I come from a land down under," and it's just like and then she gave me a Vegemite sandwich. So, it's basically I don't even know, it's like salt spread. I mean, it's just people just spread it on toast, and it's pretty much just salt. It's pretty nasty. So I never adapted to that. They also eat a lot of, like, meat pies. But it's basically like, kind of, how you can find, I don't know, a bunch of different types of cheeseburgers where it's like different stuff. And yeah, so, but there, I mean, they still have cheeseburgers and stuff, but it's almost like like a literal meat pie, but like all different kinds. So, like, kind of like a chicken pot pie vibe, those little things. So, but yeah, um, yeah, it was, I don't know, pretty similar. Also, they don't really call them pickles. So I love pickles, and I was like, "Where are the pickles?" And they're like, "What are you talking about? You're crazy." And they're just called cucumbers. Obviously, they are cucumbers, but they're not called pickles. They're just cucumbers
I mean,
that
here
are
they
in a jar.